We're Jake and Emily, the two roaming souls. We travel full-time in our camper van to find the top things to do in each city or town we visit. This week, we're exploring the coastal town of Campbell River. It's located on the east side of Vancouver Island at Discovery Passage, the main waterway between Vancouver Island and mainland Canada. Campbell River is a gateway to some of the best nature experiences on Vancouver Island, with the ocean at its doorstep and the mountains just a short drive away. Let's get to the top 10 things to do in Campbell River.
Elk Falls Provincial Park and Suspension Bridge. You really don't need to travel far from Campbell River to get into some incredible nature. Elk Falls Provincial Park is only 10 minutes up the road and features hiking, biking, camping, and fishing. The namesake of this park, Elk Falls, is a thundering 25-meter waterfall that plunges into the gorge below. And spanning the gorge is a suspension bridge offering great views of the whole scene. If you only want to see the falls and the suspension bridge, the hike is about 2 kilometers, but you can extend the hike up to 4 kilometers to a few other viewpoints of Elk Falls through old-growth forests and along the river to the smaller Moose Falls and Deer Falls. There's also opportunities to swim, which at first seemed very dangerous that close to the top of the falls. But once we got a little farther upstream, I found a prime spot for a dip.
Rotary Seawalk. Walking along the oceanfront seawalk is the best way to see Campbell River's coastline. The path stretches 8 kilometers and runs parallel to Highway 19A, offering amazing views of Discovery Passage and the Strait of Georgia. The path is paved from Hidden Harbor Park to Twillingate Park, so it's also wheelchair friendly. Don't miss local artist Alex Whitcomb's famous driftwood sculptures. Each sculpture is made from found driftwood and arranged into a true work of art. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt to find each of his unique sculptures along the seawalk and around town. The most impressive and newest addition is the huge humpback whale right in Ken Ford Park. We also found Sarah, the Herrerasaurus, on the south end of the Rotary Seawalk, but there are many more to discover in the area. You should also check out his webpage. He creates some seriously incredible stuff.
Wildlife Tour. Going on a wildlife tour is one of the best ways to immerse yourself in the ecosystem surrounding Campbell River. You can spot many different species of wildlife, such as black and grizzly bears, humpback whales, orcas, dolphins, sea lions, otters, and so much more. And Campbell River is also known as the salmon capital of the world, so another cool experience here is a fishing charter. We'll include some great tour options below in the description.
Strathcona Provincial Park Scenic Drive. Strathcona is the oldest provincial park in British Columbia, established in 1911, and you will quickly see why they wanted to preserve this area, as simply driving through the park offers stunning views of the mountains, lakes, and forests. Plus, there's tons of opportunities for hiking, boating, kayaking, and fishing. The Scenic Drive passes by 3 major lakes, Campbell Lake, Upper Campbell Lake, and Buttle Lake. The most notable being Buttle Lake, with its clear blue water stretching 23 kilometers encompassed by snow-capped mountains. It's truly mesmerizing scenery. You can experience the beauty of this park just from your car window and a few roadside viewpoints. But of course, we urge you to explore some of the beautiful hikes in the area. So here's a few notable adventures in Strathcona that you should add to your list.
Lupin Falls. Lupin Falls is one of the best easy hikes in Strathcona Provincial Park. It's a short 0.6 kilometer loop hike with parking just off Westman Road. Within steps, the trail enters an enchanting rainforest. And in no time, you are rewarded with Lupin Falls, a thin, wispy waterfall that descends a rocky chute. This short little hike is an easy 30-minute detour.
Lower Myra Falls. This was our personal favorite waterfall in the area. It's a long drive to the trailhead, but luckily a short 1.5 kilometer hike to an impressive cascading waterfall. The falls weave their way over several rocky ledges before emptying into Buttle Lake. You can walk out onto the rocks and explore, but obviously use extreme caution near the water. And while you're in the area, the 7.2 kilometer hike to Upper Myra Falls is just up the road, but we skipped this one to save our legs for some other adventures in the area.
Angler's Dining. If you're looking to splurge on some fresh local seafood, Angler's Dining is the top fine dining restaurant around. And if you follow along our channel, you know we tend to stick to more budget-friendly options, but we heard enough amazing recommendations for this restaurant that we just had to stop in. Angler's Dining is located in the Dolphins Resort just north of Campbell River. It looks out on the waterfront and has that rustic fishing cabin vibe that takes you back in time. And their food is certainly worth the hype. I chose the local salmon dish, and Emily got a mushroom Wellington, and both were spectacularly flavorful.
Okay, here's our review of Anglers. We don't like to really film ourselves too much in a restaurant because we don't want to be those annoying people. Anyway, the salmon dish that I got, it was so delicious. Like, every bite.
This is the salmon capital of the world, right?
You said it. A lot of times, fancy restaurants kind of leave us feeling like sort of unsatisfied, like we just spent a lot of money, but this one's really good. You should come here.
Mine was like a vegetarian option, the mushroom Wellington, and it was really had a lot of flavor.
Really tasty.
Yeah.
You might consider getting a reservation, as it often fills up. And you can stop in for breakfast too, but I think dinner is really the showstopper here.
That's really, really tasty.
Fogg Dukkers coffee. In every new place we travel, I'm always on the hunt for the best coffee in town. I especially love when you can find great coffee, beautiful views, and that true local vibe. And Fogg Dukkers checks all those boxes. It's actually an old bait shop turned coffee shop. One special touch about this coffee shop is the fire pit out back, and depending on the time of year, you may actually need this to stay warm. Locals and tourists alike huddle around to chat, take in the views, and curse the rain and the wind. Also, keep your eye out for whales. Some people have spotted some swimming in the passage.
Beachfire Brewing. This local craft brewery is a great place to grab a beer after an adventure. Beachfire Brewing has a variety of beer styles to try, and they serve food incorporating ingredients from local farmers. We tried their hazy IPA because that's our go-to style of beer, even though it seems like the brewer made this one begrudgingly against their will, sarcastically naming it the super trendy hazy IPA, and practically suggesting that people only like hazies because they look good for the gram. But I guess it made these two hipster, hazy drinking, social media influencing basic bitches happy. And they of course have many other beers to try. Also, check their event schedule. We sadly showed up right after a live band stopped playing, so we were bummed we just missed the show. And consider stopping by on Tuesday for their Crazy Tuesday experimental brews.
Bedwell Lake Trail. If you want to put a few more miles on your boots, try the hike up to Bedwell Lake. This hike in Strathcona Park is 8 kilometers with 609 meters of elevation. It's a tough trail because it's pretty steep and there's lots of roots and rocks. But the lakes at the end are a worthy payoff. First, you reach Baby Bedwell Lake and then climb up a couple really steep staircases to a grand view of Bedwell Lake. This is also a good area for a backpacking trip. There are wooden tent pads at both lakes with 21 sites available. And if you want to extend the hike even longer, you can continue to Little Jim Lake and Cream Lake for a round trip total of 19.7 kilometers. We wanted to hike to these, but felt that was a little too much for a day hike. You can also head over to our website, tworoamingsouls.com, to find more fun things to do in the area, plus more details on everything we listed above. We will also include any recommended tours, a helpful map of the area, where to stay, and so much more. Thanks for coming along on another Two Roaming Souls adventure. If you missed our last video, we were on the west coast of Vancouver Island exploring Tofino, a quaint seaside town with a big surfing culture. And consider subscribing to catch our next video about Victoria, British Columbia's gleaming capital city. Catch you on the next one!